Thanks everyone for making it on Monday night's call. Every Monday I do a Mums on a Mission call, and we talk to 3 mums and how this mission has inspired them to do what they do and allowed them to spend more time with their children and or grandchildren. So my name is Jenny Little, and I am a senior sales coordinator with the Juice Plus Company, and I live in Toronto, Canada. And my mission with the Juice Plus Company actually started out of desperation. I was a mom of 4, and my 2 youngest were 1-year-old twins at the time. And I was exhausted all of the time that I basically couldn't get out of bed without a cup of coffee. So what I ended up doing was buying a coffee machine for my bedroom. I used to bug my husband every morning to get me a cup of coffee in the morning so I could get out of bed. And he started leaving and going to work earlier. So I ended up asking him to sorry, I'm just muting a couple lines here. I ended up asking him to start my day with a cup of coffee, and he was going to work earlier, so he wasn't able to do that. So I thought, well, I'll take matters into my own hands, and I'll just have a coffee machine at my bedside table and make a cup of coffee from there. And that's what I did. When my husband came home, he thought it was so ridiculous that that's what I did. And I said, honey, I have no energy. I'm exhausted all the time. And I was doing everything that I knew to do, everything that I knew that was right. I was eating well, or so I thought. I was exercising every day. I was drinking lots of water and sleeping really well. And I just didn't have enough energy at the end of the day. So what I ended up doing was contacting an old friend of mine, and her name was Alyssa Harriman, and she was a nutritionist, and I trusted her opinion, and I trusted her reputation, and I asked her about this Juice Plus product that she was using, and she just said, Jen, it's only fruits and vegetables in a capsule, that's it. There's over a variety of 30 fruits and vegetables in the capsule. And I couldn't really understand why fruits and vegetables would give me more energy, but she had told me stories of other people that gained more energy and slept better and things like that. So I trusted her, and I ended up ordering the 3-blend capsules, our complete shake mix, which is a really, really yummy meal replacement. And another product that our company has is the Tower Garden. And it basically, you can grow produce from your kitchen, from a closet, from your deck, wherever you want, year round. And it doesn't use any soil. And that's what I did. I bought those 3 things. And within 2 days, I remember messaging Alyssa and asking her if there was caffeine in the capsules, because I used to open the capsules up and put them into my boys' cereal. They were a year at the time, so they had mushy cereal. And and I didn't want them obviously having caffeine, because I felt so great by taking this product that I couldn't understand that how you could feel so great without caffeine. So my 5 coffee a day addiction went down to 1 coffee a day. I remember looking at the clock a couple days in, and and usually at noon I would have my second cup of coffee, and I didn't feel like I needed it. And that was a big deal for me, because I was spending lots of money on coffee, and it was doing nothing good for my body other than keeping me awake. So for me, I wasn't interested in joining any business at that time. I was a busy mom of 4, like I said. My twins were a year old, so that was a crazy stage of their life. So I was really, really busy, and I didn't have, the time to do anything else. But what I discovered with the business was that I was naturally sharing it anyway with family and friends and loved ones. And what happened was, I was sharing with my family and friends that I was exhausted and I was struggling to keep things together. And then they would share with me that they too had those issues. And I was able to help and support my friends to better health with this product. And there was really no better feeling in the world than to be able to help somebody that you care and you love about, or care about and love, rather. So I was naturally sharing, and what happened was I was getting customers and people that wanted to join my team, because for me, it was $50 for me to join the business, and that ended up saving me around $150 with my first order. So it just made sense. There was no obligations, there was no sales quotas, there was nothing there's no requirements monthly that I needed to do. If I never sold the product, if I never built a team, it was fine. I would still make the commission on my product that I would make. So in my first 5 weeks with the company, I got to the top commission level, and that was really great because I was making real money now. And, as a stay-at-home mom, I come from education. I come from I'm always worked and always paid my own bills. And now I was in a situation where I was reliant and dependent on my husband for money. And I didn't like that feeling, but it was okay, because it was a worse feeling for me to go to work and leave my kids in the care of somebody else. So that was what I just dealt with. But now I was in a situation that I was at home caring for my kids, doing my regular day-to-day things that I had to do at home, and then earning money on top of that. In my first 5 weeks, I gained over $2,000 in bonuses, and that was so great. And I was contributing to the family household, and that made me feel good as a mom, made me feel good as a wife, and it made me feel good as a woman to be able to do that. It's my belief that no woman should depend on a job or a husband or family to support herself or for her kids. And I found myself in a situation that I didn't have to depend on anyone anymore. And that made me feel good that I could do it on my own if I chose to, which I don't. But so it's the business and the company has been such a blessing for my family. The relationships and the culture is so astounding, and I'm just so blessed. So, Erin, I want to introduce you. So, Erin is is it Calgary? You're in Calgary?
I'm in Edmonton.
Edmonton. Okay. Sorry. My Canadian geography is terrible. So Erin is in Edmonton. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself and share your product story and your business story with us?
Sure. So I'm a registered massage therapist and a certified holistic nutritionist here in Edmonton. And I was introduced to the product a little over a year ago by a friend of mine who was a client at the time. And having come from sort of a holistic health background, I worked for a bunch of years in the health store industry, which meant I was no longer interested in supplements of any kind at all. I sort of got over that idea for a while, so I wasn't interested in hearing it. But after she talked to me a few more times and mentioned the children's health study, I sort of perked up and became more interested, because with the children's health study, if I took the product, then my daughter would get the product for free. So really, I sort of I placed my first order for her more than anything, and I thought, maybe I would take it if I remembered. And I was never, ever looking for the business side of things at all, because I didn't understand network marketing and therefore thought it was evil. So I was I was busy, I'm a mom, I'm a massage therapist, I have lots of clients, I don't need extra income, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't really interested in the business side of things at all. And I conveniently gave my daughter the gummies and then put my capsules in the cupboard, where they sort of sat there for months on end with all of my other supplements that I decided I was never going to take unless I absolutely had to. So they sat there for a few months, and then close to a year ago now, I found myself in a really dark space emotionally. I was really depressed. I was really low in energy. I had lost sort of my sense of self completely. And I really needed like a catalyst, some sort of change in my life to, I don't know, make some changes, make some improvements. And despite all of my education and knowledge, nutrition never came to the forefront of my mind. It didn't happen. And I was talking to my friend about how I was feeling and explaining to her that on my drives to work, I had to fight the urge to drive off of the bridge instead of over the bridge, because I was feeling so lost and stuck. And she just sent me an email. It was something, or it might have even been a Facebook message. It was something so simple, and it was just this very short image of a cleanse protocol, using the Juice Plus, using the Complete, cutting out, wheat and dairy and drinking this god-awful cranberry apple cider vinegar lemon juice drink that we all know and love. Um, and I don't know why that seemed like it made sense to be the answer, but she sent it to me and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can do this. This makes way more sense than driving off of a bridge. So I started the cleanse, and part of the cleanse was giving up coffee for 14 days, which if anybody who knows me knows that I don't not drink coffee. I always have coffee in my hand. So that was going to be a real struggle for me. So I did it. I jumped in, I got rid of the coffee, and for 3 days I had massive headaches and was feeling terrible. But on the third or fourth day, I woke up and I felt really great. I had a ton of energy, and I didn't have a headache, and I didn't, I just felt like this veil had been sort of lifted, and I could see clearly, and I felt in control of my emotions. I felt happy. I felt steady, and I thought, this is amazing. And I continued for the rest of the 14 days, and just every day I got more clear and more energy and more stable, and I began to realize that it was just this change in my nutrition had such a massive impact on where I was, that I was hooked. I said, Megan, I'm ready. I want to join the business. If I can help even one person feel as good as I feel and get them out of the slump of where they are, I want to do that. And this for me has never been about money. I don't do this business for money. Like I said, I have a very busy practice. I make good money. I don't need the money, but I can share my story. I can share my product. I can help people to feel healthier. And through all of this, I've met the most amazing people, and I'm constantly inspired by them. Every day I open up my Facebook and it's full of positivity and light and inspiration and love and helping other people to become healthier and inspired. And I just want to be a part of that forever. Like, I cannot imagine not having that in my life. It's like, this is my life. And I am so, so blessed that I am so glad I finally said yes and paid my $50. And every day I'm so, so blessed.
Awesome. And you know what, Erin, you touched on something that it means so much to me, is that the more people I meet that do this business, they're like, it's not about the money. Like, money, yeah, money comes because that's, like, what we do isn't selling anything. Like, that's how I feel. I don't know how you feel, but I don't feel like my job is to sell something. I feel like my job is to help people and educate people and inspire people. That's what I do. I make money by, selling a product, but the product is the catalyst, like you said, for that. Like, if I didn't start this product, if I didn't come to the product out of desperation, I wouldn't have been inspired to continue with the business and help inspire other people. So what was it exactly? Like, how did Megan, because your reputation was on the line because you're a healthcare professional. So, how did she share it with you in such a way that, because I know she had to share multiple times, but how did she share it that it wasn't, it didn't turn you off, like, right from the get-go? Because I know there's a lot of people, and I'm one of them, that I'm intimidated talking to health professionals about Juice Plus because I am not a health professional. So I would like to know how I would talk to a massage therapist or a chiropractor or a nutritionist about our product in such a way that they really hear what I'm saying and I'm not just trying to sell them another supplement.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. And I do struggle with that myself sometimes. But like, when Megan first approached me about it, it was in the middle of a massage. So and she just sort of told me about it. She was like, hey, I'm starting this, this new product, maybe you've heard of it. I don't know. It's 30 whole fruits and vegetables. It's juiced. It's in a capsule. And I was like, well, okay, well, I kind of got it, but I didn't really get it. And she would just bring it up like every couple of times. And with Megan, I was seeing her for massage once a week because she had a lot of muscle aches and pains and issues and tension. And I had been seeing her at that sort of steady course for months, probably even close to a year. And we started getting to a point where we were lengthening in between the time between our appointments because she didn't need the treatments as much. So that really sort of like tweaked something to me, and I started noticing a difference in her musculature. And so that was so that was probably like the biggest thing, just noticing her muscle changes, and that, noticing that made me really a lot more curious about what she was doing outside of massage.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So you actually were seeing a difference in her body. And I think also it's really important to build, like she had built a relationship with you. So it wasn't like she was just someone off the street trying to sell you something. And I think that, business and relationships are both, they're dependent on one another. And in order to build a solid business, you need to build a solid relationships. And it just so happens that, this business it perpetuates that, and it brings these people that just want a culture and a community. So thank you so much, Erin, for sharing. Next, I want to introduce Joni to the call. So we can't see Joni, and I'm so sad because I was so looking forward to seeing your beautiful face. But Joni, did you want to share where, I got to unmute you. Did you want to share where, what's your number here? There we go. Is that you, Joni?
Yes, that is me.
Okay. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself and your product and your business story with Juice Plus?
Yes, I do. But first, I just want to say hello, Canada. My story is so different, but I'm listening to you young women, and you all know that I'm 72 years old. Did you look at the picture? It was airbrushed, but no. But
You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous.
But when I was introduced to the company NSA, which is now the Juice Plus company, that was 29 years ago. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Most traditional jobs don't last that long, especially today. So you can imagine then that one of my first things I'd like to say is that the company is here to stay. And I had this wonderful visual to show you tonight because the very conference that they introduced Juice Plus, we really didn't know what we had. I mean, we really didn't know what we had, and it came in this ugly orange box. Have any of you seen it? Have you seen the original? Okay, well, I was going to show it. Next time we'll get my face in the box. But anyway, it's orange, and I had on an orange sweatshirt, so it would match it for tonight, but okay. Anyway, then it says Juice Plus in white letters. Folks, that was what we had in an 8.5 by 11 kind of printed, just text, single-spaced, said what Juice Plus was. So I came home, I had this orange box under my arm, and said, how would you like to have 17 fresh raw whole fruits, vegetables, and grains every day running through your bloodstream 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, feel better, look better, and live longer? And they would look at me and say, how do you know there's 17 in there? And I was brilliant. That wasn't on the sheet that told me about the product. So they said, how do you know there's 17? And I would say, the company told me. And that's what we had, my friends. That's what we had. We were pioneers. And so what you have today, you stand on the threshold of the rest of your life, really. But I'm listening to your excitement and your passion and the reasons you want to help other people. We always say, if our income increases, we know unequivocally somewhere, somehow, people are happier, They're feeling better. I loved your story, Erin. I'm glad you didn't drive off the bridge.
Oh, God, me too.
Because, yes, and you know that in the beginning for me, I've been a kind of healthy person, but in the beginning for me, it was, you couldn't put a name on it except that I would just say peace of mind. I mean, it was just kind of this peaceful feeling. And I think that's what you were kind of describing. But anyway, let me go back to the beginning. My story is, like I say, longer, but I think it's a good story because it's true. When I was 38 years old, my husband died with cancer. He had been ill from the time he was 33. Now, this was a robust, handsome, good-looking guy, played all sports. We had been married for almost 19 years, and they had to remove half of his face, the hinge of his jaw, all the neck muscle, to save him. They said it couldn't be done with any kind of treatment. I was in one hospital across town giving birth to our fifth child, and he was in the hospital in intensive care. And that's how his disease began. So the Juice Plus for me, the passion is the health issue, of course. Let me go back. So he fought and fought and fought, and he overcame so many things. He lived 8 long years, and do you know that the day that we carried him out of the house the last time, he maybe weighed not quite 100 pounds. My oldest daughter helped me carry him to the car. He didn't want to go to the ambulance. But anyway, I lost him, and I had these 5 little children standing by a frozen grave. And I remember thinking, I will probably never smile again. Well, a couple of years went by. I was uneducated, and I, like you, didn't want to leave my kids, but I didn't want a job, but I could dance. And not in a bar, but I could teach. And I had dancing school, and I had to dance a lot of hours, but I was able to support my family. In about 2.5 years, I met a gentleman, Lance Dowd. We lived 1,000 miles away from each other. There was no Facebook. There was no internet. There was no dating services. I think the mail came by Pony Express. I don't know. It was back in 1980, 84. So anyway, I met this gentleman, and we had both been married exactly 21 years. We each had 5 children. We each had lost our spouse to cancer. His wife died at age 38. My husband died at age 39. And we each had 5 children. We each had a son named Tim. And we look alike, big nose, thin face, blue eyes. I have more hair than he does. But he looks like Robert Duvall, if you know who that is.
He does.
So, anyway, I met him. We saw each other 3 times in person. We got married, and we combined his family. We called it the Brady Bunch plus 4. But we were okay. We weren't, by any stretch of the imagination, wealthy, but we had worked hard, and we had put money away, and we thought we were in a good place. It was then that we endured in Texas, Dallas, Texas, real estate bloodbath. It was so bad that even the joke was that we used to tell the only thing, the difference between a Texas oil man and a pigeon was that a pigeon could still put a deposit on a Mercedes. So that's how bad it was in Texas. People went broke, and we were caught up in that horrible, it was the mortgage. You kids are too young to know about it, but it's similar to what's happened to the economy in the last little while. Anyway, people don't say nice things to you if you cannot pay your bills. They don't write nice letters. They don't say nice things on the phone. And we even got a call from American Express that said, leave home without it. So that's where you were with this large family. I had 3 kids in braces, teenagers, and I was in the garage looking for wire cutters to see if I could cut them off, because I couldn't afford to pay the orthodontist. It was then that we were introduced to the water of NSA, and it was a simple appliance. Any of you know about it? It was the first product, the first billion that the NSA company was there. But they are leader in the world in water, and Jay, being a visionary, had always was on the leading edge of the things that people needed and wanted and would benefit them. So the second thing that came after we were a leader in the world in water filtration came the air. So clean up the air. We made the air better, we made the water better, and then came Juice Plus. And that's the part you'd like to hear about, but I thought you'd like to know the beginning. I when we started the business, I never was a salesman. I could tap dance, I could teach little children. I was in good health, but please don't make me sell anything. And then, you know, one day I was getting my hair cut, and you know those big 10-gallon water bottles that they used to put in salons and hotels, and you get your water from. What guy was carrying it in, and I asked the guy cutting my hair, "Do you drink bottled water?" He said, "Sure." So I said, "Well, how would you like to get it for 3 cents a gallon?" Sold one there, started opening my mouth, and pretty soon I had told him, "You go ahead and do it." He said, "I think we've got one run left in us." We were 42 years old, 43 maybe. And Lance, I said, "You do it, and I'm going to wave the pom-poms," because I was a cheerleader at one point in my life. So, but please don't make me do it. Well, as I saw how people reacted to it, and I knew that it was helpful for them, just like you know what you're doing for your friends and family and those you care about, introducing them, that's what I did. And this is the story that brings Canada into the picture. There was a man here that was from Canada, Toronto. He had lived here in Texas, but went broke. He was building homes and everything crashed. Everything crashed. So he said to Lance, "Why don't you go with me up to Canada?" All I knew about Canada was Dudley Do-Right, the mounted police, and it was cold. That's the only two things. We didn't know anybody, but it was that trip. It was that trip to Canada. And we opened Canada. I remember the day that the office at Mississauga opened. It was like there was no furniture, phones on the floor. Can you believe it, to what it's come to today, what you guys have done in Canada? And so we went the width and breadth of Canada, on the East Coast, the West Coast. I went to Thunder Bay, and I remember them saying, it's 30 below. And I said, Fahrenheit or Celsius? They said, it don't matter. So that was my story in coming into Canada. And we're fortunate. We met Zvonko, which is your upline, and he's our downline. And so that's the story, how it all began. But here's what I wanted to tell you. We became a product of the product. And like you say, it isn't really about the money, but when you become a product of the product, and my initials are OYM, open your mouth and share it with some, you become a product of prosperity. It's true. And I will just say this, I would not have believed it if I hadn't lived it. I was a pig and chicken farmer. I didn't go to college. I taught dancing long hours so that I could feed my family. Married a wonderful man from Dallas, and now we celebrate our 34th year of marriage. We've never had a crossword. The best part is, not only are we partners in life, we're partners in business. He's national marketing director. I'm a national marketing director, and I just, I can't tell you what that means. I remember landing in Toronto the first time and pinching myself as I looked down and thought, wow, I'm actually in Canada. And so it's been a great, wonderful ride for us, and it's the real deal. So now I'm all these years, 10 children. We have 34 grandchildren.
Wow. 4
of them stayed over last night, and I'm still cleaning up after that. But, and 4 great grandchildren. They call me Grammy, and when the great grandchildren came, they call me Grammy the Great. And it's the only time in my life I've ever been great at anything. But I looked at them, all of the children, grandchildren were here. We have once a month a gathering for our family where we just get together and pop up, cook spaghetti. We call it Papa Spaghetti. It's really not, it's the good kind of spaghetti. And you can eat pasta, can't you? Sometimes. Anyway, we were all together, and I looked at those little teenagers. They were babies, and now they're 15, 16, 17. And I look how beautiful they are. They're all on Juice Plus. I remember leaning down to kiss them on top of the head. And yesterday I had to get on my tiptoes to kiss him on the cheek. So it's been a wonderful ride. It's been a wonderful ride. Been to Europe, England, and as I said, Canada, and all over the north and south and east and west in America. And so it's the freedom. It's the freedom. And guess what? I get to be at all those programs. I get to go in the middle of the day. Today I took these grandchildren to see Kung Fu Panda, and lined them up. And I mean, it's a great deal, and it's the real deal. And I remember, let me just say this: the very first check that we got of substance, and this is, remember, I'm hiding from people. I rubbed the check like you would a blind person would rub a piece of paper, Braille. And I said to the children, come, we need to kneel down and give thanks for this wonderful thing that's happened to our family. And as we knelt down, I kept one eye open and said, and while we're praying, let's pray it cashes when I get to the bank. And so I remember we were hard workers, we were honorable, but it was a tough time just trying to make the ends meet. And so I remember I drove a little Honda, and I would just drive through the drive-through and throw money in and go find some more and throw some more in. But this day, I drove up, parked right in the front, got out, walked in right up to the teller, squared my shoulders and said, good morning, I'd like to make a deposit. And my friends, I've made a deposit every single month since. And it can happen to you. It will happen to you. You're doing marvelous things. I just marvel at what I see and hear. And you've got all of it online. We used to have to do a three-way call, and they called it a daisy chain or something. It was just ridiculous. We had to send things in the mail. We had to wait for 3 or 4 days for it to get there to talk to people. You know that saying where they say you're at the right time at the right place? It seems like kind of a tired saying, but I guarantee you, I know you're in the right time at the right place. Vineyard wasn't even there when we started with Juice Plus, and the Complete wasn't there. You have so many tools, and you know what you have? You have each other. And this Jenny Little, I'm telling you, she is the engine that can and will and does. Her persistence. And Alyssa, I mean, you guys have got power people there, and we are so pleased and proud. And we have our daughter, Jenny. So I always say to Jenny, it's like we call you Sparkle Plenty. I see her little boys, and you know what I'm telling you? I mean, it's about family. It's about you. It's about growth. It's about it all. The American dream. And so I know I've taken too much time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Jenny.
no, not at all. No, I wanted just to ask you, because I mean, your life completely changed, and it was just from, it was uncomfortable for you to talk about it and to share, because like you said, you're not a salesperson. But I mean, what would your life have looked like if you and Lance didn't pursue this with NSA and Juice Plus? Where do you think?
Well,
how would your life be?
You know what? It's hard to say, because his story is that, and this was before his Eileen succumbed to cancer, but he had reached the vice president of Senior Sewing Machines. He had a corner office in New York over the ice rink at Rockefeller Center, and they changed hands. And so Lance was vice president of sales, and the new boss came in, shut the door. He always says it's such an ominous feeling. And he said, Lance, you've done a great job, but our entourage, I've brought people with me, and we're going to have to let you go. And he was crushed. And he said that day he determined never, ever, ever again would he rely on someone else for his income. And it was the best thing that could have happened to him, to become this entrepreneur. And like I say, the right place, the right time. How many times have you heard that? I know everybody on the call has heard that. Yeah. But I just got to tell you, the proof is in the product. It's what they've done with tests and studies. Now, that mimeograph sheet that I had, I mean, we know what it does. And so you don't have to blink. You can say to anyone, I have something that's going to make your life, your health, your family better, happier, and live longer. So the product, of course, is the first thing, but the business, the thing that companies have done, the things the company has done enhances and empowers you to be the most successful you that you can be. And so the product, it is the product whose time has come. And like I say, when you compare it to old school and the things we did, pioneers really. But ask me one more question, and I just wanted to finish with one little thing that I had found that I thought you might like. Anybody have questions?
Oh, let me unmute everyone. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Erin or for Joni or myself? Or is anyone struggling with anything in particular that they wanted to ask? What would you do? So, Joni, one of my teammates, Dana's on the call, and Dana, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but Dana has been having a hard time with team and building her team. What advice would you give to her for building team?
Well, you know, the thing is that the team is what makes the business soar. And, you know, sometimes, let me tell you a story, and that might answer your question, Dana. And you know what? Everybody has that, a little bit of that sometime. And I just say somewhere, sometime, somehow, you may have that little glitch where you have to just kind of be persistent, and don't give up and don't disbelieve. But let me just tell you about our national marketing director over in Kentucky. And she's a registered dietitian, a beautiful mom, 43 years old, 2 little kids. She was head of the hospital dietitian. Then she was in private practice with an OB-GYN as the registered dietitian. She has left that position, has increased her income way over what she made when she had to go 9 to 5. But she came to a time, and Dana, I'm telling you, this is a true story. She called one day and was so discouraged. She said, I just can't find anybody. And as you know, Jane Martin always says, you got to have a buddy. You got to find that buddy to run with. And I remember Jennifer at that time. There's another Jennifer. I have Jennifers all over the country. Anyway, she had to have bone and her jaw all sewn up and sewn together. And she was so persistent that we thought, well, we won't hear from her for a while. And the next day the phone rang, and this was her. Where are you? We still with the but that's how persistent she was. Anyway, it just happened that one day she was at the gym working out, and she met a gal and said, would you like to walk? And they began to walk and talk. And so it's talking to more people every chance you get. This one person began to run with her, and from that it's just exploded. When she made national marketing director, she was at 12 club. She's now 24 club and hoping to reach 39. But it's numbers. It's just numbers. It's each and you know, each one that you attract gives new birth to a whole group of other prospects. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Dana, is that your voice, Dana?
Yeah, that's Dana.
Yes, it is. Hi.
Okay. Hi. And how old are you, Dana?
Pardon me? Sorry, I'm having trouble
How
hearing
old?
you.
Oh,
35.
How old? You're 35?
35, yeah.
Oh, honey, you are going to have the rocket ride of your life. and you will be so glad. The main thing right now is it won't happen. Nobody can tell you when it's going to happen, but it won't happen unless you're out there. My husband always used the thing, you even a blind hog can dig up a corn cob if he's out there digging. It's just a matter of just be bold and listen, and then start the dialogue. And now there's so many incentives. Do you think there were bonuses back then when I was carrying around the orange box? No, there were not. So it's just the persistence. And, you know, it's never give up, because you know, that's what meetings and calls like this really help, because you should be on a call if you're having a really great day, because you inspire and encourage and make everybody else believe. And if you're having kind of the roller coaster going down, you need to be on so that you can hear that and believe. But how long in the business, Dana?
Since September. It's not too long.
Okay, well, like I say, you're just at the threshold. You're an embryo, really, but you just have to keep doing it, what you're doing, and, you know, it will come as you are able to just be persistent. And are you nervous about talking to people, or?
No, not really. I just think it's more of the networking of approaching and not really selling. I don't know. I'm still trying to get over that part of things, I think.
Of course. And you more, it's, you know, and the thing is, the more that you do it, it isn't the nature of the thing or the challenge that changes or gets easier, but your ability to accomplish it or overcome it is greatly increased. Does that make sense? Because you're going to get a lot of no's. You are going to get, and if you don't get no's, then you aren't really doing the business. Serious. I can sit in traffic here and look right and left, and you know, the percentage of people that really know about Juice Plus, so minimal. So you can be the vehicle, you can be the spokesperson, and let your pride get out of the way. Don't feel rejected. You know, I was rejected by family bad, and now they're all on it. But it's time. It's just time. Investing in yourself and personal growth. And perfect. Thank you for being on the call. We've kind of gone on a little bit, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully it's been. And listen, if I could just end with these. Well, I should ask if there's any other questions.
Does anybody else have any other questions? I think we're going to wrap it up, Joni. What did you want to end with?
I just wanted to say, you know, your journey is likened to a journey, Juice Plus is. Whoever's embarked on a journey, it's a long journey. You know, I think it's a useful metaphor when you think of it that way. And as you design your life and change and make it what you want it to be, you will find there's days where the sun's shining all the time, the wind's at your back. Other days it's kind of dark and windy, and the road isn't paved, and you feel like there's potholes and detours and roadblocks. But if you persevere and persist, I know that in that walk, you're going to find people walking alongside of you. And that's the other beauty about Juice Plus, are the sidelines, the uplines, the buddies that you have, and the friends that you make. And someone mentioned, I can't remember if it was you, Erin, or Jenny, but the people you meet, our sideline friends now, almost 30 years, great friends. I don't make money off them. They don't make money off of us. But we're great friends because this is the real deal. When you get to a conference, and please do that somewhere as soon as you can, and just look around. Just look around and see what you feel. Look at the corporate people. The same guy is the president. It was the day that we started. Everything's in place for your success. The missing component is you and what you're determined to do, your dogged determination. So when people say no, just say next. That's it. And as I said, you've got so many great leaders there. What a beautiful country. I love Canada. And now I know there's more there than Dudley Do Right.
Thank you so much, Joni. It was and thank you, Erin, so much for sharing your story. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to talk about certain things and, like, you know, areas that we were in emotionally or mentally in our lives. And, you know, you're such a big person for sharing that. So, and thank you for all your advice, Joni. And you've definitely been with the company for a while. So, I mean, it's so interesting to see how the company has evolved. So, and thank you everyone for spending the last 40 minutes or so with us to hear.
All right. And this is the last two words. Onward and upward.
Onward and upward. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Bye, Erin. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you
Bye,
too.
Erin.
Yeah.
Bye, Jenny. Bye,
I know
Jenny.
your post. See ya.